Hello everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day, morning, even afternoon, wherever you are. In this video I'll be reacting to 10 ways life in Scotland changed you, mostly for the better. I come across a video because it sounds quite interesting. I just want to see what it's about and see how it could change you and make things better generally. But also, if you haven't seen my last video about Halloween, read some Scottish traditions Halloween, go check it out. Quite interesting video. But also, if you like this video, make sure to like it, help me on my journey, and also subscribe if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's get into this video and see what it's about. Well,
Hello, my curious peeps! This is Kat, aka Kakibot, and today I am welcoming you back to my little guest room where we usually sit down and have a little talky vlog about things that are on my mind and I want to share with all of you. Today it's going to be all about how life in Scotland changes you as a person, because I have been around for, it's going to be 12 years now, and recently I've been thinking about this a lot, like how life in Scotland changes you from, when I first came here as this starry-eyed ingenue. I was never that, but when I first came here when I was 21, 22, and now I'm 33, 34 very soon. And obviously there is a big caveat of from being 22 to being 34, like you do quite a lot of just becoming an adult. So let's not focus on that. Like obviously I am more of an adult now than I used to be when I came here to start my studies. But yeah, I try to focus on things that I can actually pinpoint as being an outcome of being here in Scotland. Yes, so let's start. First of these things that I've noticed that have changed about myself is that my baseline for what I see as good weather has changed, and it's easy to always fall into this like, Scotland, weather is bad. Like it's such a a cliche topic, but it genuinely, like, you physiologically and mentally change. Year over year you have to withstand all this wind and drizzle and
I was
these
going to say
long
it's going to be
nights.
like more rainy
It
and
really makes you
snow
appreciative of the
winter.
relatively good weather days, to the extent that people in Scotland, including me, will happily like take a whole afternoon of work. Like if it's sunny outside, you will just say like, sorry boss, like I cannot be stuck here in this office. I'm off. I've really learned not to assume the weather will work in my favor. I think that because the weather is so changeable, when you live here,
Understand.
you truly kind of like get in the mindset of if I'm planning something, I will not plan it around the assumption that weather's gonna be good. Instead, I'm gonna kind of know that whatever the weather is, there's gonna be some sort of upside to it. And if I have to walk into the city center and there's like a gale force wind coming into my face, then at least I'm getting some good exercise. And that takes me to my second point, which is that I now walk everywhere. And this is a
I don't
change
mind
that
walking
happened to
actually.
me relatively early on
Walking's actually
in
pretty
my
good for
life
me.
in Scotland. It doesn't take 10 years for you to get used to walking everywhere. Yeah, it probably takes a couple of months, but it's just so noticeable, not only to me, but even to people who come and visit me. And even when I go to other cities where I used to live, when I go to Prague, and Prague has such a good public transport network, it's tempting to be using it, but now I'm just like so used to walking everywhere. And living here gives you the superpower that you just know how long it's
Some of the
gonna
stuff I've seen
take
for like
to get
Scotland,
somewhere if
like
you
in some
walk.
past
So as
videos,
long as you're only relying.
I see it's like kind of like good to walk a lot of places because you just get to see a lot more, and Scotland itself has like a lot more beautiful places than those places. The scenery is just great. Like some of the stuff I've looked at, like Devil's Pulpit, looks just absolutely amazing. But yeah, I mean, I would love to walk a lot of places in Scotland because it's just it's all breathtaking. It's like it seems unreal, but yeah, I mean, I don't mind walking it myself. I mean, but it does make things better. But I guess in Scotland, because obviously when you get to see like all the other stuff, I guess that probably would change you. I don't know, because I've never experienced that, but no.
Relying on yourself and your little feetsies, then you're always everywhere on time. So I have a couple of scenarios here that will show you that very often walking somewhere is basically the same amount of time as taking the bus, and obviously walking somewhere is cheaper than taking the bus. And also, like, especially during like high times, during peak times, taking the bus is not the most pleasant thing ever. Like, it's full, it can get hot, it can get smelly. So yeah, walking for the win. So first of all, this is not our address, but it's kind of like vaguely in the area of where we now reside. Getting to, let's say, Scrannan-Skelly in Stockbridge by bus 23 minutes, by feet 29 minutes. Now here's kind of a more touristy scenario, so maybe this one is more kind of
Hit shortcuts and
descriptive
get
of what
quicker.
you might be experiencing, but this one is from like the middle of George Street, and it's basically a scenario where you want to go from the middle of George Street to Dean Village, where walking is 15 minutes and taking the bus is 13 minutes. So as you can tell, these like, especially these like shorter
Big
walks,
shortcuts and that
almost
buses
it's
go
a
everywhere.
no-brainer. Just
Well,
walk it.
sometimes.
Like if it's, I think that if it's within 30 minutes, you are better off just walking it. Walking. And you know what? When you're moving to Scotland, sometimes your Scottish friends might give you a little hint like that this is not the most healthy thing you can do for yourself. You know, you will definitely become vitamin D deficient, and most of the food here is beige. But the walking, I would say the walking really makes up for that,
Fighting.
because yeah, a lot of people who live in Scotland, and especially in the cities, and you know, Edinburgh isn't actually that walkable. Like, sometimes I do say that, like, it's walkable, but I think that it's
That's true.
walkable because that is genuinely the most practical way of getting
I've got a
around.
lot messed up.
However, like, the actual walkableness is questionable. Like, I often, if I walk around the city center, I will have to like walk in the road, like the bits meant for just the cars, which, you know, is a bit dangerous. Don't do it. But sometimes I have to do it because the sidewalk is like really tight, and you know, in the city center there's a lot of
Sidewalk,
visitors.
really.
They like to stop around, take pictures, and I don't want to be mad at anyone, but I
Sidewalk. Why actually call it a sidewalk? Pavement. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess makes sense. I can understand it, but I mean, I know people in England call it pavement, but I'm pretty sure people in Scotland call it pavement as well, because sidewalk is the more of an American term, and yeah.
sometimes, you know, when you're
But I
when
can
you're
understand how
following
it's
that
like
sixth sense and
quite
you want to be somewhere
tight.
on time, you can't just like get stuck behind tourists trying to look into Maison de Mogi to see the cats. That's fine. It's fine.
If you look where you're going, it's really fine.
Faster!
It's fine. Take your time. I'll just jump into the traffic. It's fine. You know me. I'm a friend of the tourist. So, number 3. After over 10 years in Scotland, I have to say that I am finally really learning to love some of the things that just like are an integral part of Scottish culture. You know, when I came here, when I first moved here, if you watch my videos, you probably know, like, this wasn't my dream. Sorry. I wasn't like one of you guys who are dreaming about moving to Scotland, and, you know, that's your, just like your 5-year plan is to make it to Scotland, live here forever. For me, I just kind of like
I can understand
failed
that. I mean, I've
upward
never
into
really
Scotland.
been there,
It
so I
just
can't
happened to me,
say that, but I mean,
and here I
from what I've
am.
learned, it's really good.
Yeah, so like
Looks
when
really
I
good
first
as well.
moved here, I didn't really think twice about what makes Scottish culture, what's, you know, what I should be prepared for or whatnot. I can't say that I moved here and I was like, yay, bagpipes. Like, I can't say that
I like
I was
bagpipes.
moved
I really,
by
I actually think,
bagpipes.
bagpipes are amazing. I mean, the sound of them they make, the music that comes out of them, the look of them. Just, I've always liked bagpipes. But the thing is, I've never been to Scotland either, so I've always liked bagpipes, and I've always liked the music that comes out of it and everything like that. It's just such an amazing instrument. You know, I've never the only instruments I've ever played is like keyboard and maybe violin, but that's about it. I haven't really played much else. But bagpipes. Actually, I played a flute once as well. It's not quite the same, but it's bagpipes are a really nice instrument.
Now
I like them.
I kind of am. And especially like it's weird. Like you get like a sense of it's obviously it's not like nationalism because like you're not a national of Scotland, but these things they just slowly creep up on you, even these things that you originally thought you wouldn't like, you know, like bagpipes or
I've always liked them
haggis
so.
crisps. We have some at home. Iron brew, I can't say that
Iron
I
Brew's great.
originally liked it. It just tasted
I love
kind of
Iron
weird to
Brew.
me. But I guarantee you that if at this point I moved to a different country altogether, I would be really missing all of those things, including
I know
bagpipes.
Iron
I
Brew's
think
like
that
the
this point
I
number
think it's a
3 is
national
very closely connected
like
to
soft
point number
drink,
4, which is that the
fizzy drink,
longer you
whatever.
stay here,
To
the more
Scotland.
crystallized idea you get about what Scotland actually means. So
And
this is
also, isn't Iron Brew what I've actually heard from like another Scottish person? I think I saw a video on TikTok. I don't know, but this Scottish person was talking about that McDonald's have Iron Brew as their drink instead of like Coke or things like that. I don't know if that's true, but let me know in the comments below because I was a little bit curious about that actually. But bad video.
this. Some of you will definitely like start typing this angry comments down below. That's fine. It helps my algorithm. I'm fine with it. I need to learn to take them. It's okay. But to give you some insight,
Not
when
an
you
angry
live
comment,
outside of UK, all
but
of UK, I don't mean just Scotland, all of UK, it's easy to perceive it as like, well, that's United Kingdom, like politically, that is a unit, you know,
yeah.
here's a king, here's, you know, the
But
sort
if
of
you look at
political
history, there's a lot of
leadership, and
differences,
you know, then it just like
and
trickles down like in
UK
any other
is not
country.
exactly a country.
And honestly, most European countries have some sort of like smaller areas which might have some sort of like rivalry between them. You know, Czech Republic does have that. You know, we have like Moravia and Silesia, and you know, there's a bit of kind of, you know, rubbish between those little like sub sort of areas, and I think that's to
Urban areas, but yeah,
the
that's what we mean.
average European or like Western person, that is how we assume it works in the UK. And you, unless you truly like study it, you kind of have to like be here to understand the true differences. There's obviously also like kind of an unpleasant power dynamic.
Yeah, because UK is not a country; it's a sovereign state of Europe or sovereign state of European Union, whatever. It's not a country. Obviously, you got Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England, and you know, Republic of Ireland's nothing to do with it because it's separate. And it's Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Scotland, Wales, and England is just Great Britain. But if you add Northern Ireland, it's just Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But in all fairness, I just called it as the countries. I don't class it as UK or British. I mean, I'm Britain. I don't even like. I don't think I ever use the terminology very much to say that. I don't really. I prefer to say the countries because the countries are what they are, personally. But that's just me. Everyone's different, I guess.
Right? Because like England is the more powerful one. Just recently,
No, not
you
really.
know, England just kind of vetoing some of the rules that we made up here in Scotland that we had the right to create, and they just went like, we don't think so. That seems a bit too liberal.
That's one of the things I hate. I mean, I know, like, obviously Scotland's got their own different, like, rules and stuff like that, but there's one of the things I hate about England. England thinks they are the greatest of all. They think they're most powerful, but fine, they got a king. They got, like, the Prime Minister itself, like, overrules everything in, like, Great Britain and UK, whatever. But I hate the fact that Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland all have to listen to this, even though they're different countries. Or they follow this and follow that. And the way England's going, like, especially with cost of living and things like that, and the way it's up, doesn't help the other country so much. I mean, it might in some way, but I don't know. Depends what you. I'm not going much into that, but you know, I can understand where she's come from that. Just
Yeah,
I
they
don't
they
really
just
agree
did
much.
that to us, and you keep watching these things sort of unfold, and I don't want to say you start like hating on England, but you definitely start
No, I mean,
understanding
I
why some
understand that.
Scottish people would have a problem with England. And obviously
I
there's
can
that whole
understand that.
like historical side of things also, you know,
Yeah,
it's
the
not just something that's happening
historical
now.
side of things, Scotland's.
Scotland and England have always had a complicated history. It's a
Yeah,
complicated relationship. And I think that it's not just in the UK.
was.
Sometimes it really takes visiting a country to understand their relationship with surrounding countries. It did take me a couple of years. I think that like my first couple of years here, it maybe felt a bit uncomfortable to be delving into that. I didn't really have that many like Scottish friends, and also I didn't have this channel. Sometimes this channel, me like sharing my sort of findings and opinions and angry people kind of commenting down below, sometimes that is the starting point of me kind of thinking about something differently. Number 5, living in Scotland has thoroughly changed my wardrobe. Now, when I first moved here,
Okay.
I self-identified as this self-respecting city-dwelling person who definitely did not have a trekking jacket or hiking boots, none of that. I was very kind of like, you know, like skinny jeans, leather boots, you know, nice coat, that sort of like fake Burberry trench coat sort of style. It's weird. Obviously everyone's style changes throughout the years, but I can
I guess
definitely
depends
see
on what sort of
how
style you
life in Scotland has
like to
made quite a big
have.
difference to what I wear now. So I would say that at any point between like start of October and end of April, I am basically living in this outfit here. As you can tell, this is not a super fun outfit, and I try to not wear it in my videos because like visually boring, but for like practicality of living in Edinburgh and Scotland, this is perfect. So my earmuffs, I find that hats don't really keep my ears warm, so earmuffs it is. Then this is kind of like a functional
Depends
jacket,
on
as you
what
can
sort of
probably
hat you
hear.
use,
It's
but
that sort of
okay.
like ASMR material. But it's really good at keeping both the wind and the wetness out while not being like too stuffy, like it doesn't get too hot in there. It's great. A lot of pockets on the inside as well. Then usually on my bottom half, I tend to wear these, I guess you could say like jeggings. These are from Uniqlo. I have like 6 pairs of them because I'm a creature of habit. They're very elastic and I can do all these things in them. Look at me. Maybe don't look at me on my feet. Right now
Okay.
I'm wearing these Timberland boots, which were kind of like a replacement for my regular hiking boots. I think that both of these are good options. I just find hiking boots are a bit more sweaty and smelly, and Timberlands kind of like when you clean them, they pass as like a nice city boot, but at the same time, Edinburgh is really like muddy. So especially if you're walking through the parks or if you're just, you know, if you're a photographer, if you're an explorer, I think it's really good to have a boot that's both kind of like wetness proof, waterproof is the thing that
Wetness.
normal people say, and mud proof. And these are just that, and they're leather, and you can kind of put that like weatherproofing spray on them, and that's perfect. The only thing I would say that's wrong with this outfit for Edinburgh is that it's all black. So
Well,
maybe if
top
you're
mines be
out and
alright, eh?
about after dark, put something reflective on yourself, maybe like
Or
a
maybe new
backpack of a
rocks.
reflective color, because it is objectively a bit dangerous to be wearing all black in Edinburgh when it's dark. Yeah, from like a driver's perspective, it sucks to not see people just like jaywalking around you. So keep that in mind. Number 6.
What about if you walk? I mean, I'm sure if you walk, it'd be fine.
I truly believe that living in Scotland has made me a nicer, kinder person who has a better feel for the
I guess because
community.
I guess it's
And
like I guess that is because Scottish people are more generally nicer, down to earth people, more kind and more considerate. I mean, I've heard of that before, so that's probably one of the things that makes you like evolve more to be more of a nice person. I mean, a lot of people I see around, sort of, especially where I'm like England, some people say like please, thank yous, and like how are you, things like that, but not a lot of people do that so much. Like considering like how many people are here. I mean, there's not many people that do it. I mean, I've been to like a few shops here and there, and even like on buses and stuff like that, like the driver doesn't say thank you or please or whatever that, or even shops don't say thank you, come again, or whatever that. But there are some places that do that, but it's very, it's very rare. I guess in Scotland it's more like more considerate and like they're more down to earth people. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't anyone like that in England. I'm saying like there are a lot more people that aren't like that compared to like what I've heard like Scottish people more like I said down to earth, considerate and like that. So I can understand if that's the case where she's come from.
To give you some insight into how my brain works, I think that I am generally quite protective of like the energy I have for people around me. I think that in
Yeah,
some
it's kind of
countries
like me
I
as
feel
well.
like
I
if I'm
guess
not getting that
I'm quite
kindness
protective.
from the other people, then I'm gonna
I'm quite
keep
I have
my
quite a lot of
kindness
anxiety
for
and
myself and my loved ones. I
other
know
stuff that
that
going on.
Gandhi
So
would not be happy with me. I am not the change I want to see in the world. I am waiting for the world around me to be nice, and then I'm like, okay, I can give you nice, that's fine. But Scotland, you know, for the longest time, I thought that this was like more of a problem with Czech Republic. I thought that in Czech Republic, people kind of are coming from the communist regime, and they have like trust issues, and they just have an issue with kind of similarly to what I just described in myself, that they don't quite want to give people kindness just because they want to make their nice better. I always thought that it was like a Czech problem or kind of like a Central European or like a post sort of like USSR problem. And then
yeah.
as I started visiting some other countries, I noticed, especially compared to like Scotland after being here for a couple of years, I noticed that Scotland is still the kindest, the friendliest. I don't know,
I've heard that.
it just
Like
feels like such a
I've heard that
cliche to
Scottish people are
say,
a lot more
but it
friendly.
is true. I thought when we went to the States, I thought that in the States it would be a lot more over the top. Like people would be a lot more friendly and a lot more kind of like helpful. And we met many people who were, but like I would say on average, it was not as kind and as nice of a country. And obviously that was just a specific part of the United States, so I don't know. It's probably different in different parts of the States. I'm certain of it. But to me, this was a surprise to come back to Scotland and to have that like homey feeling of like, wow, like people here truly are the best. And it did take
I've
me
heard that
possibly those
people are
like
like
10 years to realize this. I
I've
think
just
that
heard it a
maybe
lot.
for
I
you
mean,
who are more
people
optimistic and just
down to earth.
trust humanity more than me, I think you would maybe get to this point faster than me. To me, it truly took those.
I can understand where she comes like trust humanity. I mean, I have a lot of trust issues when it comes to it because there's a lot of not so friendly people around. But in Scotland, I mean, like she said, I can understand the way that could change you, especially like if they're a lot more friendlier and that. So I can understand that. That's what I've heard. Like I said, they're a lot more friendlier. But yeah, I mean, I can understand like some places, like especially in England and maybe United States, there's not so many friendly people in certain parts. But I've heard like obviously, like I said, majority of Scottish people are just friendly in general. You might get the odd one that's not, I guess, but more friendly than any place I've heard of, anyway.
10 years to realize that Scotland is one of the kindest, friendliest places on earth from the ones I've visited. And I kind of reflect that. It makes me a better person who, when I see people in trouble,
Good to know,
when I
because
see people who have,
especially like people with
accidentally
anxiety and stuff
tucked
like that.
their skirt into their underpants, I want to help. So that was the
Wow.
most recent thing that I did that I thought got me good.
Wow. She talked about tuck a skirt under her pants, so I'm not I'm not gonna jump to conclusion, but is she talking about a kilt or a general skirt? I don't know where she went with that, but okay.
Good karma, but not that I think about it that way. But yeah, it's a come to Scotland, you're gonna become nice. Number 7, surprise! You are basically a birder now.
She's stuck watching birds again.
Okay, let's like leave it there because it's just about halfway through. I'm gonna make another video about it. Probably like 3 more left after that, but I mean it's a little bit over halfway. But the beard's quite long as well, so if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you subscribe if you haven't already, feel free to leave a comment below. But I'll make the second part as well, and hope you enjoyed that as well. But I hope you liked the video, and I hope you look forward to watching me do more videos like this. And I will see you next one. Thank you, and have a good night, day, or morning, wherever you are. Bye.